So now we'll start the another topic in the error detection and the correction, that what we have to call as a cyclic codes. Cyclic codes are the special linear block codes with one extra property in cyclic code. If code word is cyclically shifted, that result is another code word. Okay, if you have shift the any code word cyclically, can perform the right shift or the left shift. Okay, so that will give the another code word. As in the linear block code, if you have performed the XOR operation between the two code word, that will get the another code. Same thing in the cyclic codes, you need to cyclically shift the code word, that will give the another code word. That what we have to call as that particular code cyclic codes. Okay, so here they are given the table cyclic codes. Okay, with the size 7 comma 4. 7 is nothing but it is a size of the code word, and 4 is nothing but it is the size of the data words. So what is the size of the code word here? 7, and size of the data word is 4. Okay, so now we'll know how we'll get the another code word to performing the cyclically up to perform the cyclical shift on the one code word. How we'll get the another code word by performing the cyclic shift on the one code word. Okay, so here I will take one code word from this particular table. Okay, so here I will take this code word. Okay, and I will perform the shift here. I will perform the left shift. Okay, whenever performing the left shift, so I am performing the one beat left shift here. Okay, means I am shifting the one beat to the one beat which is present at the left side. I am shifting that beat to the end. Okay, so here what beat is present at the left side here? That is a what is that one? So that is a 0. Okay, 0 which is present at the it is a leftmost beat. Okay, that I will shift to the end here. Okay, because I am only performing the one beat left shift, so that's why I am shifting that leftmost bit 0 to the end. Okay, and whatever the code word will get, that will the whatever the result will get, that is a another code word. Okay, so what we will get after shifting that leftmost bit to the right side, that is a 1 0 0. Okay, 1 1 1 0. If I shift this 0 to the at the end, okay, that is a 1 0 0 3 1 0, where this particular code word is present in this table. Okay, so here that code word is present, that is a 1 0 0 3 1 0. Means after performing the cyclic shift on the one code word, I will get the another code word. Okay, so that what we have to call as a cyclic code. Cyclic codes means to performing the cyclic shift on the one code word, that will give the another code word. Okay, that what we have to call as a cyclic codes. Okay, so next we will move to the cyclic redundancy check. So what is the cyclic redundancy check? Cyclic redundancy check is nothing but it is a subset of cyclic codes called as a cyclic redundancy check, and cyclic codes is used for to correct the errors. So here we have to using the particular cyclic codes. Okay, cyclic codes I am using for to correct the errors. Okay, whatever the cyclic redundancy check will be there. Okay, so in that I am using the cyclic codes to correct the errors. Okay. Okay, so here from the figure 10.14. okay, so they are given on figure here. Okay, that figure name CRC encoder and the decoder. Okay, so this is the block diagram we have to use for encoding and the decoding in the cyclic redundancy check. Okay, how we will do that we will see. First we will see from the sender side. Okay, so here what happened, the first point here is in the encoder the data word has a k bits, okay, and the code word has a n bits. Okay, so data word has a k bits. So in the previous table we saw here k bits is nothing but the 4, and code word has a n bits is nothing but the 7. Okay, So that's why in the encoder data word has a k bit 4 and code word has a n bit, it is a 7. Okay, and the second point is the size of the data word has been incremented. Okay, size of the data word has been incremented by adding the n minus k0 to the right hand side of the word. Okay, so what is the n minus k? So n, what is n minus k? There is a 4 bit data word is there and 7 bit code word is there. Okay, means 4 minus 7, that is a 3, n is a 7, k is the 3, n minus 7 minus 4 is nothing but the 3. So those 3 zeros we need to add, okay, a right hand side of the data word. Okay, so you have to see in the diagram here. Okay, so here there is a 4 bit data word, okay, and 7 bit code word. Okay, then 7 minus 4, that is a 3. Okay, so we need to add the 3 zeros here. Okay, we need to append the 3 zeros, add the data word. Okay, and after that here, okay, yeah, that will result, n bit result is paired into the generator, means that whatever the incremented data word is there, that we need to pass to the generator here. Okay, incremented data word is nothing but whatever the 3 zeros we have to append it to this particular data word, that data word we have to call as a incremented data word, that we need to pass to the generator. Okay, so after that the generator use the divisor of size n minus k plus 1 to divide the incremented data word. N minus k plus 1 means n is here 7, k is here 4, plus 1 means 4 minus 7 minus 4, 3, 3 plus 1, 4. Okay, so that is the size of the divisor. Okay, so here the particular generator using the divisor, okay, to divide this incremented, okay, to divide this incremented data word. Okay, that generator will select the divisor to divide the incremented data word. So what is the size of that particular divisor? N minus k plus 1 means it is 3. Okay, and after that so after that the generator will by using that divisor, okay, by using that particular divisor, it will divide the incremented data word. Okay, so whatever the remainder we will get, okay, those remainder, the remainder size will be the 3 bits. Okay, the remainder size will be the 3 bit here. Whatever the remainder you will get, the remainder size has been 3 bit. Those 3 bit we need to append it to the original data word. Okay, so reminder plus data word we will get the code word. Okay, so that they have given here. Okay, so the reminder r2, r1, r0 is appended to the data word to create the code word. Okay, so this is at the sender side, means in the sender there is a data word is a 4 bit and code word as a 7 bit. Okay, so 7 minus 4 means 3 zeros we need to add to the data word at the end. Okay, and that data word we have to call as the incremented data word. The incremented data word we need to pass to the generator, and generator will select the divisor. It generator perform the division operation on the incremented data word, so that's why it first select the divisor. So that divisor size will be the n minus k plus 1. Okay, n minus k plus 1 means it will be 7 minus 4 plus 1 means it will be 3. 7 minus 4 plus 1 means 7 minus 4, 3, 3 plus 1, 4. Okay, the 4 is the size of the divisor. Okay, divisor has a 4 bit. By using that divisor, it will divide the incremented data word, and whatever the remainder will get, that is in the 3 bit form. Okay, and that reminder we need to append to the original data word, and that will create the code word. Okay, and that code word we need to transmit to the receiver. Okay, we need to transmit to the receiver here. Okay, so at the receiver side what happened, In the decoder means at the receiver side we need to decode that information. The checker performs the division on the received code word by using the same divisor as used in the encoder. Okay, means whatever the checker which is present at the receiver side, it use the all that 7-bit code word. Okay, and it performs the division operation on these 7-bit code word by using the same divisor which is used at the encoder side. Okay, checker will perform the division operation on those 7-bit code word by using the divisor which is used at the encoder side. Okay, and after that we'll get the syndrome value. Okay, syndrome value is nothing but here it is a reminder. Okay, that is also 3-bit reminder, or the syndrome value that is in the 3-bit form. Okay, so that will be in the 3-bit form, and that we need to pass to the decision logic analyzer. Decision logic analyzer will analyze that syndrome value. If the syndrome value has been, all bits has been 0, okay, then the data word has been accepted. If there is a particular syndrome value is non-zero, then that will be discarded. Okay, so that they have mentioned here. The result syndrome value, that is n minus k, means a 3-bit size that will be paired into decision logic analyzer, and if the syndrome bits are all 0, then data word has been accepted. Otherwise the 4-bit data word has been discarded. Okay, so this is the block diagram of the CRC encoder and the decoder. Okay, so generally I will tell what is the meaning. Okay, so first 4-bit at the center side, encoder side, 4-bit data word. Okay, so 4-bit data word here. Okay, and 7-bit code word. 7 minus 4 3, and 3 0 we need to append to the code word here. Okay, and that will be passed to the generator, and generator will perform the division operation on that particular incremented data word. Okay, so that's why it will select the one divisor. That divisor size will be n minus k plus 1. Means here it will be 4-bit. Divisor size will be the 4-bit, and it will perform the division operation, and whatever the remainder will get, that is in the form of 3-bit. Okay, R2, R1 and R0, and that will be appended to the original data word, and that reminder plus original data word create the code word. Okay, that we need to transmit to the receiver side. At the receiver, the checker will perform the division operation on all these 7 bits. Okay, by using the same divisor that is used at the encoder side, and whatever the reminder will give, that we have to call as a syndrome value. That is also 3-bit. Okay, that we need to pass to the decision logic analyzer. Decision logic analyzer analyze the syndrome value. If syndrome value is 0, then the data word has been accepted. If syndrome value is non-zero, okay, then that will be discarded. Okay, so this is the block diagram of the CRC encoder and the decoder. Okay, so next we will move the we'll see the one problem here. Okay, so in this what happened, they have taken the data word, that is so in the examination they will give the data word and a divisor, and you need to find the what is the final code word. Okay, so here data word is 1001. Okay, and you have to consider the code word size. Maybe code word size must be, it will be 7. Okay, so here the data word is 1001. Okay, so that 1001 we have to use it here as a dividend, that whatever is 1001 and 000, so that has been a dividend here. Okay, so how we need to know 30 we need to append to this particular data word here. Okay, how we come to know how many zeros we need to append to this data word. Okay, so that is nothing I told in the previous block diagram. There is n minus k. The n is nothing but here size of the code word. I told that it is a 7. K is nothing but the 3. Okay, 7 minus 3 4. Sorry, it is 4. Okay, 7 minus 4 means 3. So that's why we need to append 3 zeros to the 1001 data word. Okay, that what we have to call as a incremented data word, and that we have to use as a dividend. Okay, so in this way we need to come to know how many zeros we need to append, or otherwise you have to take the size of the divisor here. What is the size of the divisor? 4 bit. 4 minus 1 means 3, and 3 0 we need to append. That is also another way to identify the how many zeros we need to append. Okay, so here we have identified the divisor, we have identified the dividend as an incremented data word. Okay, and now we need to perform the division operation. Okay, so here first we need to subtract these first 4 bit of the data word. Okay, that is okay, first 4 bit, or we have to take these first 4 bit we need to use. Okay, 1001, that we need to subtract from the divisor. Okay, so that is a 1001 and 1001 and 1011 as a divisor. So we need to subtract the first 4 bit of the dividend from the divisor. Okay, so here we need to perform the subtraction operation. How we need to perform the subtraction operation? We need to perform the XOR operation between the two words. Okay, so here XOR operation means if there is a two, if you are applying the XOR operation between the two similar bit, then it will be 0. Okay, it will be 0. And if you are applying the XOR operation between the two different bits, then it will be 1. Okay, so in this way you need to perform the subtract operation by applying the XOR operation between the two words. Okay, so here this 1 1 means it will be 0 here, 1 0 means it will be 1, and 0 0 means it will be 0, 1 1 means 0, because two similar bit it will be 0 and two different bit it will be 1. Okay, and what reminder we will get? That is a that will be 0 1 0. Okay, so here that will be 0 1 0. So we have got only 3 bit here. Okay, we need to select only 3 bit, that is a 0 1 0. Okay, so 3 bit reminder we will get here, that is a 0 1 0. Okay, and but here the size of the divisor has been 4 bits, so that's why we need to pull out one of the one of the zeros from the dividend, and make the reminder has 4 bit. Okay, and in the next step we have to use that reminder as a dividend. Okay, so here, but what is the problem is here leftmost bit has been 0 and leftmost bit of the divisor has been 1. Okay, so how we need to perform the division operation here? Okay, so we need to make the, or we need to use the zeros as a divisor. Okay, so that's why we have taken here divisor as a all 0. Okay, how we need to take? We need to multiply this 101 with the 0. Okay, we need to multiply this 101 with the 0, and we will get the divisor as a 0. Okay, and again we need to perform the XOR operation. Again we will get the 3 bits. Okay, that is a 100. So again we need to pull out the one of the bit from the dividend. Okay, and that will create the 4 bit reminder, that is a 1. Okay, so that will create the 4 bit dividend, that is a 1000. So here leftmost bit is here, it is the 1, so that's why you need to use the same divisor here. Okay, 1011 by multiplying to the 1 here. Okay, again we need to perform the XOR operation. Okay, so 101 means 101 means it will be 1. Okay, 101 means it will be 1. Okay, 00 means it will be 0. Okay, so again it will be 3 bit 00 or 1. Okay, so again we need to pull out another bit from the dividend. Okay, then we will get the next dividend as a 0 double 1 0. Okay, so here the leftmost bit is 0 here. Okay, so that's why again we need to take the 0 divisor. Okay, so 0 divisor we need to take. So how we need to take, we need to multiply with the 0 and we'll get the 0 divisor. Okay, so after that again we need to perform the XOR operation, that is 0 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. Okay, so again we will get the 3 bit here. Okay, so now this will be the final result. Why it is a final result? So there is a no bit has been left from the dividend to pull out. Okay, so that's why this we have to consider as the final remainder 110. Okay, in the block diagram I told that the remainder size will be n minus k. So here it will be n is 7 minus 4 3. Okay, that is a 3 is the size of the remainder here. That what we are get after performing the division operation. Okay, and this remainder okay, so this reminder we need to append to the that reminder we need to append to the code word. Okay, so that is a 101 110 and that will create the code word here. Okay, so that will create the code word. Okay, so whatever the 110 is there, that we need to append and that will create the code word. Okay, so and that we need to transmit to the receiver side. Okay, so this is how we need to perform the how we need to calculate the code word at the encoder side. Okay, division operation, first we need to select the data word. They already in the problem definition they will give the data word and the divisor. Okay, so the here how we select the how we need to know how many zeros we need to append to the data word. Okay, so that is a n minus k, size of the code word minus size of the data word. 7 minus 4 is the size of the data word here and 7. Okay, so here we have to consider the code word size has been 7. So 3 means 3 zeros we need to append to this particular data word, that is a 1001 and 000, or otherwise you need to consider the size of the divisor, that is a 4 bit. 4 minus 1 is a 3. Okay, and 3 zeros we need to append to the data word, and after that we need to perform the division operation. So whenever there is a 0, the leftmost bit is 0, then we have to use the divisor as all zeros. Okay, how we need to use all the divisor has been 0 by multiplying with the divisor, we need to multiply with the 0. Okay, so we will get the final remainder when there is a no bit has been to full out. Okay, so that will be the final remainder and that we need to append to the original data word and that will create the code word. Okay, and that we need to transmit to the receiver side. Okay, so at the receiver side there is two possibilities there. One is the receiver has been received the same code word. Okay, that is the first one, or there is some bits will be corrupted at the time of transmission. Okay, so at the receiver side also we need to perform the same division operation. Okay, but here whatever the remainder we will get, that is we have to consider as a syndrome, that is also 3 bit. Okay, so if the syndrome value has been 0, then it will be not corrupted one and we need to accept that particular data word, that is a 1001, that is a 1001 data word we need to accept from that particular code word whenever the code word has been not modified at the time of transmission. Okay, but here another possibility, whenever there is any single error has been happen in the code word at the time of transmission, okay, then the syndrome value will be non-zero. Okay, so you see here, okay, one bit has been modified here. Okay, that is the last bit. So here it is a 1 is there, here it will be 0, here it is a 1, here it has been 0. Okay, so one bit has been modified, so that's why we have got the reminder as the non-zero value. So that reminder we have to call as a syndrome value. Okay, so if you get the non-zero value for the syndrome, that data word we need to, okay, we need to discard that particular data word. Okay, so this is the two possibility. Here also we need to perform the same division operation as we perform in the encoder side, but here there is a two condition. Whenever we have to receive the correct data word, then there is a syndrome value has been 0. If if code word has been modified, then syndrome value has been non-zero value, then data word can be discarded. Okay, in this way we need to perform the encoding and the decoding, okay, by using the CRC codes. Okay, so this is a one example how we need to use the CRC codes. Okay, and next we will move to the polynomial. Okay, so in the previous slides we have saw that how we have to use the binary value at the time of division. Okay, now we have to see the polynomial. Okay, so polynomial is nothing but what? It is a pattern of zeros and 1 can be represented a polynomial with coefficient 0 and 1. Okay, so here whatever the binary numbers are there, that is the 0 and 1, okay, that can be represented as a polynomial. So that 0 and 1 we can represent it in the polynomial as a coefficients. Whatever the binary values are there, 0, 1, 1, that we need to consider as a coefficient in the polynomial. Okay, and the power of each term show the position of the bit. What is the power is there? If, for example, x raised to 3, x raised to 2, 3 is nothing but the position and 2 is nothing but the position of that binary value. Okay, and next one is coefficient shows the value of the bit. Okay, coefficient I already told in the first sentence. Coefficient is nothing but here a binary value 0 and 1. Okay, so we will discuss, you will see the one example here. Okay, so here they have given the two figure here, A and B. Okay, so here in the A what happened? They have shown the how to translate a binary pattern into the polynomial. Okay, so the first one is it is a binary pattern. Okay, second one is how we can translate that binary pattern into the polynomial. Okay, so here what happened? Okay, so here what happened? The binary value has 1 1 0 0 0 0 1 1. This is the binary value. Okay, so here those binary value we have to use as a coefficient in the polynomial. Okay, so here this 1 has a coefficient of x raised to 6 and this 0 has a coefficient of x raised to 5 and this 0 has a coefficient of x raised to 4 and this 0 has a coefficient of x raised to 3 and 0 x raised to 2 and 1 has a coefficient of x raised to 1 and this one has a coefficient of x raised to 0. Okay, so here whatever the power is there, that is a 0 1 2 3, that will indicates the position of the binary value. Okay, so 0 is indicate the position of this particular coefficient at 1, so 1 is present at the 0th position. Okay, same thing. So here the power, that is the 1. Okay, that indicates the position of this coefficient 1, that is present at the position 1. Same thing, this 2. Okay, 2 as represent the position of the binary value 0. Okay, so 0 has present at the second position. Same thing for the remaining power, as also represents the position of the binary value. Okay, so that's why in this way we need to translate a binary value to the polynomial. Okay, so whatever the binary values are there, okay, whatever the binary values are there, that will represent the coefficient in the polynomial. Okay, and whatever the powers are there, that will represent the position of the binary value. Okay, so this is the first diagram, the binary pattern and the polynomial, and second one is it is a short form. Okay, so what is the short form means here? So they are told in the figure B, it shows the polynomial can be shortened by the removing the all the terms with the 0 coefficient and replacing the x raised to 1 by the x and x raised to 0 by the 1. Okay, so whatever the 0 coefficient terms are there, all we need to remove. Okay, so whatever the 0 coefficient terms are there, that is the x raised to 5 is a 0 coefficient term, x raised to 4 is also 0 coefficient term, x raised to 3 is also 0 coefficient term, and x raised to 2 is also 0 coefficient term. So those all we need to remove. Okay, and what is left here? The x raised to 6, x raised to 6, okay, x raised to 1, x raised to 1, that is a x, and x raised to 0 is nothing but it is a 1. That is a x raised to 6 plus x plus 1. This is a short form of the polynomial. Okay, means we need to remove all the 0 coefficient terms. Okay, and after that what we will get, that is a short form of the polynomial. Okay. Okay, the next we will see. So next it is a basic information of the polynomial. Okay, so next we will see some of the basic concepts. Okay, that is the degree of the polynomial. Before going to some problems, we will discuss some of the basic concepts here. Okay, so degree of the polynomial. So what is the degree of this particular polynomial? X raised to 6 plus x plus 1, that is a 6. 6 is the degree. You need to select the highest power as a degree here. Okay, and after that adding and the subtracting the polynomial. Okay, so whenever you are performing the addition and the subtracting, so we need to delete the similar terms here. Okay, among these two, what are the similar terms? Okay, the x4 and this x4 is a similar term that we need to delete. So whatever the left here, okay, and also the x2 are the also similar terms that we need to delete, and whatever the terms are left, that is the result, that is the x5 plus x6. Okay, that is the result. Okay, so in the addition and the subtraction, we need to delete the similar terms. Okay, so after deleting the similar terms, whatever the result we will get, so whatever the terms are left, that will be the result. Okay, and after that multiplying and dividing the terms. Okay, so whenever you to multiplying, you need to add the powers. Okay, here the x raised to 3 into x raised to 4. Okay, so here you need to add the respective powers, that is a 3 plus 4, that is a 7, x raised to 7 in the multiplication. In the multiplication, we need to add the terms, add the powers of the each term. Okay, in the multiplication. Okay, in the division operation, what we need to do? We need to subtract the powers of the each term. Okay, so here x raised to 5 divided by x raised to 2 means 5 minus 2, 3. The final result will be the x raised to 3. Okay, so in this way we need to perform the multiplication and the division. Okay, and the last one is the multiplying the two polynomial, means here what we need to do. Okay, so here there is a two factors are there. Okay, this is the first one and the second one. Two factors or two polynomials are there here. Okay, how we need to multiply two polynomials? So we need to select. We need to first select first term from the first polynomial, and that first term we need to multiply the all the terms which are present in the second polynomial. Same thing you have to, and next time you have to take the second term in the first polynomial, and that term we need to multiply with the all the terms which is present in the second polynomial. Same thing you have to take the third term from the first polynomial, and that we need to multiply the all the terms which are present in the second polynomial. Okay, and whatever the result we will get, we need to simplify that result. How we need to simplify that result? So we need to, here we are to performing the addition. In the addition we need to delete the similar terms. Okay, so x6 x5 x5 is the similar terms. Okay, and x3 is the similar term. Okay, and x2 is not there. Okay, so after deleting the similar term, okay, so we'll get the final result, that is x raised to 7 plus x raised to 6 x raised to 3 plus plus x. Okay, so in this way we need to multiply the two polynomial. How we need to multiply the two polynomial? Okay, so each term from the first polynomial we need to multiply with the all the terms which are present in the second polynomial. Okay, and after that we need to simplify, means we need to delete the similar terms in the addition, also in the subtraction, and after deleting the similar terms we will get the final result. Okay, so these are the some basic operations we need to understand before going to the real problem. Okay, degree of the polynomial, okay, and the highest power of the polynomial, and next subtracting you need to delete the similar terms, multiplication add the power of the each term. Okay, here in the division we need to subtract the power of the each term. Okay, in the multiplying two polynomial means, so each term from the first polynomial we need to multiply with the all the terms which are present in the second polynomial. Okay, okay, so next cyclic codes and code are using the polynomial. Okay, so now we'll see the how we can perform the division operation by using the polynomial, because in the encoder side we have saw by using the binary numbers we have to perform the division and finally we get the code word. Okay, but here we have to represent those binary value into the polynomial form, and you need to perform the division operation and you will identify the code word at the encoder side. How we need to do here? Okay, so in the previous diagram we have saw the data word, that is a 101. Okay, and the division as a 1011. Okay, so that we will see here. Okay, so here the data word is a 1001. Okay, 101. Okay, and the divisor is a 10, the same divisor and the data word we need to use. Okay, okay, same device, same data word we need, same data word and same divisor we need to use, and that can be represented in the polynomial form. Okay, how we need to represent into the polynomial form? You have to take this 101. Okay, so this is this last one is nothing but it is a x raised to 0. Okay, and this is a x raised to 1, and this is a x raised to 2, and last one is it is a x raised to 3. Okay, so I already told that all 0 coefficient term we need to remove. Okay, so here the x raised to 2 is a 0 coefficient term and x raised to 1 is a 0 coefficient term. We need to remove, and what we will get? X raised to 3 plus the last one is a x raised to 0, that is x raised to 0 is nothing but 1. Okay, so x raised to 3 plus 1. Okay, so that is a x raised to 3 plus 1. Okay, in this way we need to represent the binary value into the polynomial form. Second, we have to take the divisor here. Okay, 101. Okay, 1 0 1 1. Okay, here also this one is a x raised to 0. Okay, and this one is x raised to 1. Okay, and this 0 is nothing but it is a x raised to 2, and this 0 is nothing but it is a x raised to 3. Okay, so here also we need to remove the 0 coefficient term. There is only one 0 coefficient term is there, that is the x raised to 3. This term we need to remove, and what is the remaining here? That is a x raised to 3, x raised to 3, and x raised to 1, x raised to 1, and x goes to 0 is nothing but it is a 1. And what we will get final result, that is a x goes to 3 plus x plus 1. In this way we need to convert the binary to the polynomial form. Okay, and after that in the block diagram you saw that is a incremented data word. Okay, so here nothing but the size of the, what is the size of the divisor here, 4 minus 1 3, so 3 zeros we need to append here to this particular data word. Okay, or we can also consider the what is the degree of this particular divisor in the polynomial form, that is 3. Okay, means 3 zeros we need to add to this particular data word. Okay, so that will create the incremented data word. Okay, so that will create the incremented data word here. Okay, this can be represented as the x raised to 6 plus x raised to 3. How? Okay, we can take 1 0 0 1 triple 0. Okay, okay, so this 0 is nothing but it is the x raised to 0, and this 0 is nothing but it is the x raised to 1, and this 0 is nothing but it is the x raised to 2. Okay, and this 1 is nothing but it is a x raised to 3. Okay, and this is a x raised to 4. Okay, and this has been, it is a x raised to the 5, and this last one is a, it is a x raised to 6. Okay, so here also we need to remove the zero coefficient term. What are the zero coefficient term here? It is a first one is a x raised to 5 is a zero coefficient you need to remove. Okay, and the x raised to 4, that you need to remove. Okay, and also this one. Okay, so this is a x raised to 2. Okay, so x raised to 2 we need to remove. Okay, so x raised to 2 you need to remove. Okay, and this is the x raised to 1, that you need to remove. Okay, x raised to 0 is also zero coefficient, that you need to remove. And what are the thing here left, that is the x raised to 3 and x raised to 6 as a contain the coefficient as a 1 value. Okay, that's why the polynomial form is x raised to 6 plus x raised to 3. Okay, so that is x raised to 6 plus x raised to 3, that is a what represent the incremented data word. Okay, so in this way, or there is another way is there. Okay, better you have to consider this way only. Okay, so the incremented data word we can represented in the following form as a x raised to 6 plus x raised to 3. Okay, so here we have seen the diagram here. Okay, so whatever the data word we have to represent it in the polynomial form, that we can use as a, so this particular data word. Okay, that is represented in the form of, that is represented in the form of polynomial, that is x raised to 3 plus 1. Okay, and after that the divisor 101 I have represented as a x raised to 3 plus x plus 1. Okay, and that I have used as a divisor here. Okay, so that particular term I have used as a divisor here. Okay, and next, what is the dividend then? Okay, so dividend end here is nothing but, dividend is nothing but here 1g, this is the incremented data word, that is the x raised to 6 plus x raised to 3. Okay, so that we have to use as a dividend here. Okay, x raised to 6 plus x raised to 3. Okay, that is the incremented data word. After appending the 3 zeros to the data word, okay, we need to convert it into the polynomial form. What we will get, that is the x raised to 3 plus x raised to 6 plus x raised to 3, that we have to use as a dividend here. Okay, and divisor is nothing but it is a x raised to 3 plus x plus 1. Okay, now we need to perform the division operation. How we need to perform the division operation here? Okay, first what we have to do, okay, first you have to divide the first term of the dividend. What is the first term of the dividend here? That is x raised to 6, that has been divided by the first term of the divisor. Okay, that is a x raised to 6 divided by x raised to 3. What result we will get? So in the division operation we need to perform the we need to subtract the power of the terms, means x raised to 6 minus 3, means what we will get, the result is a x raised to 3, means we need to subtract the power here 6 minus 3, okay, that will get the x raised to 3, okay, and that result we need to use as a quotient here, x raised to 3 we need to use as a quotient, okay, so that is the first quotient, okay, and after that what we need to do, we have to multiply that particular quotient, okay, need to multiply that particular quotient with the divisor, okay, x raised to 3, okay, into this particular divisor, okay, so we need to multiply that quotient with the divisor, quotient with that particular divisor here, okay, and what we will get, that is a x raised to 3 into x raised to 3, that is a x raised to 6, okay, okay, and x raised to 3 into x raised to 4 here, okay, and x raised to 3 into 1 we will get the x raised to 3, okay. So here we need to, okay, and after doing that, okay, we need to perform the subtraction operation between these two polynomial, we need to perform the subtraction operation, okay, or the addition operation we need to perform, okay. How we need to perform, I already told that subtraction or the addition we need to perform by deleting the similar terms, okay. So here the what are the similar terms here, okay, the x raised to 3 are the similar terms and x raised to 6 are the similar terms, these we need to delete, and what is left here, x raised to 4, okay. So x raised to 4, the power of this particular remainder is greater than power of the divisor, again we need to continue the division operation. So here also first what we need to do, we have to divide the, now it is x4 we have to, so now we have to this particular x4 we have to use as a dividend, okay. So here the term of the first term of the dividend we have to divide by the first term of the divisor as we done in the previous step, okay. So that is x raised to 4 divided by x raised to 3, what we will get, so we need to subtract the powers, that we will get the value as a x, and that x we need to use as a second quotient, okay, that x we have to use as a second quotient, okay, and next this quotient we need to multiply with the divisor, okay, x raised to 3 plus x plus 1 into x, okay, what we will get, so that is a x into x raised to 3, that is a x raised to 4, x into x square, and x into x, that is a x, okay, and after that we need to perform the subtraction or the addition, okay, we need to remove the similar terms here, okay, what we will get, remaining terms, that is a x square plus x, that is our final remainder. Why it is a final remainder? So we need to perform the division until the degree of the remainder has been less than the degree of the divisor, okay. So whatever the remainder is there, his degree is 2 here, okay, what is the divisor degree is 3 here, means the degree of the remainder has been less than the degree of the divisor, and we need to stop the division operation, okay, and that we have to consider our final remainder, okay. So here, and that remainder we need to append to the original data word. What is the original data word? That is a what is the original data word here, okay, that is a okay, x raised to 6 plus x3, that is the original data word here, okay. So from that we need to append, okay, there is a original data word here, okay, there is a x raised to 6 plus x raised to 3, okay. So that is our original data word, okay, and this remainder has been, we need to append to this particular data word, okay. What we will get after appending, that is a x raised to 6 plus x raised to 3 plus x square plus x. Okay, that is what the code word, data word plus the reminder will get the code word here. Okay. Okay, so this is a what operation we need to perform at the encoder side. Okay, so I will tell the generally here. First we need to, okay, first we need to convert the whatever the binary value into the polynomial form, that is x raised to 3 plus 1. Okay, and also convert the binary value of the divisor to the polynomial form. Okay, and we need to increment this data word by appending the 3 zeros. Okay, so that incremented data word we need to convert it into the polynomial form, that is x raised to 6 plus x raised to 3, and after that we need to perform the division operation. Okay, first we need to divide the first term of the dividend by the first term of the divisor. So whatever the result we will get, okay, whatever the result we will get, that we have to use as a first quotient, or that quotient we need to multiply with the divisor, and we will get the divisor as a x raised to 6 plus x raised to 4 x raised to 3, and here you need to remove the similar terms. I will get the x raised to 4. So again we need to divide this first term of the dividend, that is x raised to 4, by the first term of the divisor, that is x raised to 3. So we will get the value as a x, and that x you have to use as a second quotient. Okay, and this x we need to multiply the divisor, and we will get the x raised to 4 x raised to 2 plus x, and we need to perform the addition of the subtraction operation. Okay, so here also we need to delete the similar terms, and we will get the x square plus x. So here we need to stop the division operation. Why? Because the power of this particular remainder has been less than the power of the divisor. Okay, and this we need to append to the data word, and that will create the code word. Okay. Okay. At the encoder, at the decoder side, we need to take this as a data word. Okay, and we need to divide this data word by using the same divisor. Okay, that is a x raised to 6 plus x raised to 3 plus x square plus x. This we are what we have to use as a dividend in the decoder side, and this we have to use as a divisor. We have to perform the same division operation. If we will get the value as a 0, then we need to accept the data word. If we will get the non-zero value, then we have to discard that data word. Okay, so this is how we need to perform the division operation at the polynomial. Okay. So they have given one node. Division in a cycle code is normally called generator or the polynomial or simple generator. Okay, so means whatever the divisor is there, that we have to call as it is a generator polynomial. Okay, that they have given in the note here. Okay. And next we'll move to the cyclic code analysis. So here cyclic code analysis, what we need to do here. Okay. So they have given here, so they have taken the data word as a d of x, and code word as a c of x, a generator as a g of x. Generator is nothing but the divisor. Okay, and the syndrome value is s of x, and error as a e of x. So in the polynomial form they are represented, in the form of function they have represented data word as d of x, code word as a c of x, generator that is a divisor, g of x, syndrome as a s of x, error as a e of x. Okay, so they are given here. Okay, they have given the here they have given one table here. Okay, what is this table, or we have to also call the one algorithm they have given here. Okay, if s of x is nothing but what, the syndrome value we have to get at the receiver side. Okay, if s of x, okay, is not equal to 0, then one or more bit has been corrupted. We know that if the syndrome value will not non-zero, not equal to 0, then means one or more bit has been corrupted. Okay, if s of x is 0, no bit has been corrupted, or some bits are corrupted but decoder failed to detect. Okay, so what is the meaning of this particular block will be, if s of x, that is syndrome value, is not equal to, okay, it is not equal to 0, then one or more bit has been corrupted. If it is equal to 0 means no bit has been corrupted, or the some bits are corrupted but decoder failed to detect. Okay, so that is the what meaning of that. Okay, so here next we will discuss, next point is here, the receiver code word is sum of the sent code word and the error. Okay, so whatever the received code word that has been received by the receiver, it is a sum of the code word which is sent by the sender. Okay, sent by the sender, and the error which are inserted at the time of transmission. Okay, the summation of sent code word and the error we have to call as a receive code word. How we can represent it in the particular, okay, in the form of function. Okay, that is, the receiver code word is equal to the code word which is sent by the sender plus error, because error is nothing but the e of x. Okay, and the sent code word is nothing but it is a c of x. Okay, c of x is a sent code word, e of x is a error, so that will come, the sum of these two will create the receive code word at the receiver. Okay, and next one is the receiver divides the receiver code word by g of x to get the syndrome value. We know that. Okay, whatever the receiver code word is there, that has been divided by the generator. Generator is nothing but the divisor. Okay, so that's receive code word we can divide it by the generator or divisor. Okay, so how we can represent that in the form of function here. Okay, so that is a receive code word divided by g of x, that is a divisor. Okay, that can be also represented. Okay, that is c of x. C of receive code word is nothing but what here. Okay, that is a c of x plus e of x. Okay, so that's why you need to rewrite this particular function, that is c of x divided by g of x plus e of x divided by g of x. Okay, so means here receiver code word is nothing but the c of x plus g of c of x plus e of x, means this is sent code word plus error. Okay, so whatever the receive code word, that has been divided by the divisor, that is g of x. Okay, that is the receiver code word has been divided by g of x. That can be also rewrite as c of x divided by g of x plus e of x divided by g of x. Means here receiver code word is nothing but it is a c of x plus e of x. So that can be that can be right by using the g of x, that is c of x divided by g of x plus e of x divided by g of x. Okay, and after that here what they have given, if c of x divided by g of x is equal to 0, then a remainder of this division is always 0, because c of x divided by g of x remainder has been always 0. Means c of x is nothing but the code word which is sent by the sender. So that is a valid code word which is sent by the sender, that has been modified at the time of transmission. But whenever the sender has sent, that has been correct one. Okay, so whenever we have to divide it by the divisor, we will get the remainder as a always 0. Okay, and next one is the c of x, that is a okay. So this is instead of c of x, it is e of x here. So by mistake that I have in c of x, but you have to take as it is a e of x divided by g of x. Okay, so e of x errors are divisible by g of x, then the error cannot be caught. These two remainder cannot be equal to 0, then only the error can be detected. Okay, that is a e of x divided by g of x. Okay, the remainder cannot be equal to 0, then only error can be detected. If it is divisible, then error cannot be caught. Okay, so here instead of this is a c of x, whatever taken, that is a e of x. By mistakenly I have taken c of x, so you have to consider that is a e of x. So e of x divided by g of x, the remainder must not equal to 0, then only error can be detected. If it equal to 0 means the error cannot be detected. Okay, so in this way we can represent into the functions. Okay, the data word dx, code word is e of x, generator g of x, syndrome as s of x, and error is a e of x. So they are given the one block diagram. If s of x is not equal to 0, one or more error bit can be corrupted. If s of x is equal to 0, no bit has been corrupted. As a syndrome value is equal to 0 means no bit has been corrupted, or sometimes some bits are corrupted, the decoder failed to detect. Okay, and the receiver code word is nothing but it is a sent code word plus error. Okay, and the receiver divides the receiver code word by the g of x, means it is a divisor. Receiver code word has been divided by the g of x. Receiver code word is nothing but here c of x plus e of x. Okay, so that's why we can rewrite this particular division function, that is c of x divided by g of x plus e of x divided by g of x. Okay, and after that, if c of x, g of x remainder has been always 0, because c of x is a coder which is sent by the sender, that is a valid one, so it is always is equal to 0 here. And e of x divided by g of x, okay, so that cannot be equal to 0, then error can be detectable. If the remainder has been 0, the error cannot be detectable. Okay. Okay, next we will discuss So next we will discuss the different types of error, the single bit error, two error, burst error, how we can represent those errors in the polynomial form. Okay, so how we can represent this particular single bit error in the polynomial form, how we can represent the burst error in the polynomial form. Okay, and how we can represent the some two errors or the two isolated errors or the two single bit errors in the polynomial form, and what are the generator and what are the divisor we need to use, so that by using those generator or divisor we can easily detect those different types of errors. Okay, that we will discuss. Okay, first we will discuss the single bit error. Okay, so here the first we will discuss the single bit error. First we will discuss the single bit error here. Okay, so single bit error is nothing but there is any one bit has been modified in the particular data. Okay, so that particular modified data, corrupted bit, we have to call as it is a single bit error, because only one bit has been corrupted or one bit has been modified. Okay, that what we have to call as a single bit error. Okay, so how we can represent that single bit error in the polynomial form. Okay, so that is a e of x equal to x raised to I. So x raised to I means here the I is represent the position of the corrupted bit. Okay, I is represent the position of the corrupted bit. Okay, and next, what types of a generator, okay, that is the g of x, what type of a generator, okay, or what type of a divisor we need to use so that can detect this single bit error. Okay, what is the form of that generator, so that can easily detect that single bit error. Okay, so here the generator must be at least two terms. Okay, and the coefficient of the last term, that is x raised to 0, is not equal to 0. Okay, the coefficient of the x raised to 0 must 1. Okay, and at least contains the two terms. Okay, for example, the generator, that is a gx plus 1, that is a g of x equal to x plus 1. So here the x raised to 0 has been coefficient 1 is there, and also there is a two terms. Okay, so if there is a e raised to x, polynomial form is x raised to I. For x raised to I, the I value is 2, the error is present at the second position, then it is a x square. Okay, that has been divided by the x plus 1, then the remainder is cannot equal to the 0, then that single bit error can be detected. Okay, so in this way we need to represent the single bit error in the polynomial form, and what type of a generator we need to use to detect that single bit error. Okay, so here if the generator has more than one term, the generator must require more than one term, and the coefficient of x raised to 0 must be 1 to detect all single errors. That is a what form of generator we need to use to detect the single bit error. That is x raised to 0 coefficient must be 1. Okay, and it at least contains the two terms. Okay, so here some of the example they have given here. I have told that what they have told, which of the following gx value guarantee that will detect the, or which value of the gx is a guarantee that will detect the single bit error. So they have given the generator here, means they have given the divisor here. Which of divisor is guarantee that it will detect the error? So I already told in the single bit error what type of a generator we need to use. Okay, so that has been at least contains the two terms. Okay, and the coefficient of the x raised to 0 must be 1. If the generator is in the form, then it easily detects the, or it will easily guarantee that detects the single bit error. So you need to check these three generator whether it is in the form of that is a last x raised to 0 coefficient must be 1, and it at least contains the two terms. Okay, so here first we need to take the x plus 1. Okay, first we need to take the x plus 1. Okay, as already told, x plus 1 is in the form of generator. That generator we have to use for the detect the single bit error. So okay, so that's why they are told that x raised to I can be divisible. Okay, so no x of I can be divisible by the x plus 1. So x of I cannot be divisible by the x plus 1. X of I is nothing but it's a error. X plus 1 is nothing but it is a divisor. It no xi can be divisible by the x plus 1 means any single error can be detected. Okay, next you have to take x3. X3 is there. Okay, so if the error is a x raised to I, okay, the I value is, it is 3. Okay, and here generator value is also 3. If we do, if you do x3 divided by x3 means the remainder has been 0. Remainder has been 0 means the single bit error cannot be detected. Okay, so that's why they are told that here if it is equal to or greater than 0, then xi is divisible by the g of x, means the single bit error cannot be detected. Okay, and next bit you have to take c equal to 1. Okay, so that is x raised to I is there. Okay, so I value is a 0, that is a 0, then it will get the 1 divided by 1, the remainder has been 0. Then remainder has been 0 means this generator also cannot detect the single bit error. Okay, so that they are told. Okay, all the value of I make xi divisible by the g of x, no single bit. Okay, there is a no single bit error can be caught. Okay, so here only the first generator can detect the single bit error, and remaining two generator cannot be detect the single bit error. Okay, so this is a what example about the single bit error. Okay, next we move the two isolated single bit error, means here two single bit errors are present in the particular data. Okay, so here they are given. Okay, there is two errors are there, two single bit errors are there. Okay, which is present at the jth position. One error is present at the jth position, and one error is present at the ith position. Okay, so this two error we have to call as it is a two single bit error or the two isolated single bit error. Okay, so how we can represent this two single bit error by using the polynomial. Okay, so here they have represented e of x is equal to x raised to j plus x raised to y, means two errors are there, two single bit errors are there, so that's why we have to take the two terms here. Okay, one is the x raised to j, another one is the x raised to y. X raised to j is the one error, and x raised to I is another single bit error. Okay, so I and j is identify the position of that two errors. Okay, and j minus 1 define the distance between the two error. Okay, so here j and I, that is j minus I has determine the distance between these two error. Okay, next one is we can rewrite this particular equation. Okay, we can rewrite this particular equation also in this form. Okay, there is a e of x is equal to x raised to y into x raised to j minus I plus 1. Okay, means here we need to take the xi out of this equation. Okay, then that will be like x raised to j minus 1 plus 1. If you multiply this xi into xji minus plus 1, then you will get the original polynomial form of the two single beat error. Okay, so you can rewrite that particular equation in this way. Okay, you can also rewrite this particular error equation also is in this form also. Okay, and here what happened, next point, if g of x is to divide the e of x, it must divide the xj minus 1 plus 1. Then all the isolated double errors cannot be detected. Okay, so what is the meaning of this particular sentence is, if the particular generator want to detect two single bit error, then it cannot need to divide this second factor, that is x raised to j minus 1 plus 1. The g of x, that is the divisor, cannot want to divide this particular term or particular factor, then only two isolated single bit errors can be detected. Okay, if it is divide, then the isolated double errors cannot be detected. Okay, so here next point is the g of x must not divide the x t s to t plus 1. T is nothing but here j minus 1. Okay, and which is actually x raised to j minus I plus 1 only. Okay, if the particular g of x, that is a remainder, is not divide this x raised to t plus 1, then the two single bit error can be detected. Not divide is nothing but what, here the remainder cannot be equal to 0, then the two single bit error can be detected. Okay, so this is a two isolated single bit error. So how we can represent two isolated single bit error? By using the two terms x raised to j plus x raised to I. J and I is represent the position of the two single bit error in the particular data. Okay, j minus I is represent the difference, and that equation can be also rewrite in this form. You can take the x of I, that particular equation, that is xi into x raised to j minus I plus 1. Okay, so if you want, if particular generator or divisor want to detect the two single bit error, it must not divide this second factor, that is a xj minus I plus 1. If cannot divide means the remainder cannot equal to 0, then only two single isolated error can be, or two single bit error can be detected. If the generator or divisor divide this means the remainder is equal to 0, then the two single bit error cannot be detected. Okay, so that is how we can represent the two isolated single bit error. Okay, so this is what they have represented. Okay, so this is the example they have given here. They have given the generator, same example they have given the generators here. You can find which are the generator is provide the guarantee that will detect the two single bit errors. Okay, first one is the x plus 1. Can I detect a single bit error? So error is a form of, that is a, so they have told that there is a x j minus I. Okay, so the error is in the form of the x j minus I, okay, plus 1. Okay, so if there is a distance between the two error is 1, if j minus the distance between two error is 1, then it will be x plus 1. The generator is also x plus 1 and the error is also x plus 1, means the remainder has been 0. So there is a not guarantee that if it will divide, then it is not guaranteed that it will detect the two single bit errors. Okay, so that why they are told in here. Okay, this is a very poor choice of a generator. Any two error next to each other, that is if errors are mm, if the errors are presented side by side. If you take one error is present at the first position, another error is present at the second position, then j is a 2, I is a 1, 2 minus 1 means x. Okay, so that is a x plus 1. So if it will divide 0 means it cannot able to detect the two single bit errors. Okay, and next you have to take second one, x raised to 4 plus 1. Here also it is same. Okay, if there is a error equation is x raised to j minus 1 plus 1. Okay, the distance between the error is 4. For example, take one error is present at the first position, that is a I value. Another error is present at the fifth position, that is a j value. Means what is the equation of the error then? X raised to 4 plus 1. So what is the generator they are given here? X raised to 4 plus 1. If you divide that generator, that error by the given generator or given divisor, then you will get the remainder as equal to 0. Then also you cannot able to detect the two single bit errors. Okay, so that's why they are told that here this generator cannot detect the two errors that are fourth positions apart, means the distance is 4 bit. Okay, but here C and B, okay, it is a generator that can detect the two single bit errors. Okay, because it is in the generator which is in the form that will detect the two single bit errors here. Okay, it's a good choice for this purpose. And D also, this polynomial cannot divide the x raised to t plus 1. Okay, so that's why this code word with the two isolated errors up to x bits apart can detected by the generator. Okay, so in this way these are the two generator, these are the among these four generator, only two generator can detect two isolated errors. Okay, so this is a problem on the two single bit errors. Okay, next we will move to the odd number of errors, another one. So when the generator will detect the odd number of errors, when that particular generator or the divisor has contains the factor x plus 1. Okay, factor x plus 1. Okay, that particular generator has contains a factor x plus 1, then only the generator can detect the odd number of errors. Okay, so here they have given the one generator here. Okay, if you divide that particular generator, then we will get the factors x plus 1 and x raised to 3 plus x raised to square plus 1. If you multiply these two, then you will get the original generator, original form of a generator. But if you divide this generator, then you will get the these two factors. Okay, so here that whenever you divide that generator, then that generator has contains the x plus 1 factor, means that generator has detect the odd number of errors. Odd number of errors is nothing but what here? It is an odd number of ones are present in the particular data word. Okay, so when the generator had detect the odd number of errors, whenever that has contains the x plus 1 factor. If you take the one generator, if you divide that generator, if it contains one of the factor as a x plus 1, then it can detect the odd number of errors. Okay, and next we will move to the burst errors. Okay, as I already told. Okay, so what is a burst error? Means two or more errors. Okay, burst error means it is a two or more errors. We have already discussed this particular burst error. Okay, so here what happened? Burst error can be written in this particular format. Okay, so burst error can be written in this form. Okay, so here e of x equal to bracket x raised to j plus so on plus x raised to I. Means burst error is nothing but the two or more errors, means it at least contains the two factor or more than two terms. Factor or sorry, it is a terms. Okay, so that's why this particular equation for the burst error has contains the two terms or more than two terms. Because two or more two errors are there, then x of j and x of I is enough to detect the position of those errors. But if more than two errors are there, then we can require some additional term also to represent those errors. Okay, so that's why the burst error can be represented in this particular Burst error can also represent in this particular form. Okay, burst error means two or more errors. So that's why in this equation is contains the two terms or more than two terms to represent the errors. Okay, so this particular equation can be also we can rewrite. Okay, so that is a x raised to I. You can take the common term, that is we can take out the x raised to I here from this particular equation. Okay, so what we will get, that is a x raised to j minus 1 plus the last term, that is a 1, and the middle term is and there is a middle terms are present when there is a more than two errors are there. Okay, so then this particular equation can also you can write in this particular form. Okay, by taking the x of I from that particular equation. Okay, so here the third point is if our generator can detect the single error, then it cannot divide the x of I. Okay. So means if our generator want to detect the only single bit error, then it cannot divide this first factor, that is a x of I, that already we have saw in that single bit error. Okay, and next point is if our generator or the divisor want to detect burst errors, then it cannot divide this second factor, that is a x raised to j minus 1 plus so on plus 1. So if our generator can detect two or more errors, that is a burst error, then it cannot divide this particular factor, that is the second factor. Okay, so means they are represented in the division form. Okay, so x raised to j minus I plus so on plus 1 divided by x raised to r plus so on plus 1. Okay, so here this is a denominator is nothing but the it is the polynomial generator, that is a divisor. Okay, and the numerator is nothing but the it is a error. Okay, if the remainder is 0, then it cannot be detect the burst errors, two or more errors. If remainder is not equal to 0, then it will detect the two or more errors. Okay, means they are given here, it must not be 0, then denominator is a polynomial generator, generator polynomial means this denominator has nothing but it is a generator polynomial. Okay, so here they have given the three cases here. Okay, based on this particular division operation, they have derived the three cases here. Okay, so in each of the cases the generator can detect the errors, and which are the cases generator cannot detect the errors. Okay, so here what happen, if j minus 1 first case is here nothing but first one, if j minus 1 is smaller than r, the j minus 1 smaller than r. What is the j minus 1? It is nothing but the degree of the polynomial, degree of the error polynomial. Okay, j minus 1 degree of the numerator. Okay, and r is nothing but here degree of the denominator. Okay, degree of the if the degree of denominator, okay, is greater than degree of numerator. Okay, so what is the meaning of this particular first case? Okay, the degree of a denominator has greater than degree of numerator. Okay, then the remainder is never be 0. Okay, the remainder here, the particular remainder, the remainder cannot be 0. Why? Because if the r value, that is the degree of the denominator, has greater than the degree of the numerator, means you take x raised to j minus 1 is a it is a x, it is take you out to x raised to 4, then the degree of the denominator as a x raised to 5, means here degree of the denominator has been greater than the degree of the numerator. Then you can, if whenever you divide these two, you will cannot get the value remainder as a 0. Okay, because the numerator degree has been smaller than the degree of the denominator, so that's why you cannot get the remainder as a 0. So at that time it will detect the all the burst errors or 2 or more errors. That is the first case. Okay, and second one is here j minus I is equal to r. Okay, if the degree of denominator and the degree of numerator, okay, sorry, degree of numerator and degree of denominator both are equal, then the remainder can be 0, then the burst error is undetected. Okay, if x first is a, it is a numerator numerator power is x raised to 4 and denominator power is also x raised to 4, then both are divided and it is equal to 0, means the error, so the error is undetected. Okay, that is the second one. And third one is if j minus y is greater than the r. Okay, so the degree of numerator is greater than the degree of denominator. Okay, so then also it is possible that the syndrome value has been 0, that is the remainder has been 0, then the error can also undetected, means it is a x raised to 5, this is a x raised to 4. Okay, so there may be possibility because whenever to dividing, okay, for example, that is a for example it is a x raised to 5, okay, it is a x raised to 4, okay, multiply with the x, then you will get the x raised to 5 is 0. The denominator here also the remainder has been 0 whenever the numerator degree has been greater than the denominator degree, then also we will get the remainder has been 0, so then also the error is undetected. Okay, so these are the three cases here. When the first case is here nothing but what, the numerator degree has been less than the denominator degree. Okay, then the remainder cannot be 0, the error can be detected. Okay, when the numerator degree is equal to the denominator degree, then the remainder has been 0. Okay, then the error can be undetected. Okay, and third case is the numerator degree has been greater than the denominator degree. Okay, then the syndrome is 0, then also the error is undetected. Okay, so that's why they are told in that burst error equation, if this particular uh, error, if it is not divided, then only error can be detected. If it is divided, the error cannot be detected. Okay, so this is all about the burst error. Okay, so burst error can be represented as, okay, in the form of, because it contains 2 or more errors, so this can be also represented in this form also. Okay, the first term is a x of I here. If it is divided, then it will detect the single bit error. It is not divide this x of I, then it can detect the single bit error. Okay, if it is not divide the second factor, then it will detect the 2 or more errors. Okay, so that is the burst error, and these are the three cases where the error can be detected and the error cannot be detected. Okay, this is the award summary. Okay, so this is a award summary here. Good polynomial generator is need to have the following characters. So as we already discussed, in the single bit error, that is at least 2 terms. Okay, last one should, last coefficient, that x raised to 0's coefficient must be 1. Okay, that is a second one. The coefficient of the x naught should be 1, that is a detect the single bit error. Okay, and there is a third one, it should not divide the x raised to t plus 1 for, okay, 2 isolated errors, that is t is nothing but j minus 1, x raised to j minus 1. Okay, if x raised to j minus 1 is not divided by the divisor, then it will detect the 2 isolated errors. Okay, and the last one is here, they should have contains the, okay, it should have contains the x plus 1 factor. Okay, then it will detect the odd number of errors. Single bit error, how we can represent the polynomial form, single bit error. Okay, and what are the generator we have to use to detect the single bit error. Next is the 2 isolated errors. okay, and how we can represent the two single bit errors in the following form, and what are the generator we need to use to detect those two single bit errors, okay. And also next one is the odd number of errors. If you want to detect the odd number of errors, the generator must have a, or the divisor must have a x plus 1 factor, okay. And next last one is a burst error. A burst error is nothing but two or more errors. It will contain the two or more terms in the error polynomial, okay. So if that particular term that is a x has to j minus 1 plus so on plus 1, it cannot be divided by the generator, then only the generator will detect the two or more errors, okay. This is the part summary. So these are some of the standard polynomials, okay. So next, the advantage of the cyclic codes. The cyclic codes have the cyclic codes are very good performance in detecting the single bit errors, the double errors, odd number of errors, and the burst errors. So this is the first advantage. The whatever the cyclic codes we have to using that have good performance, have accurately detect the single bit errors, double errors, odd number of errors, and the burst errors, okay. And the second one is the cyclic codes can be also implemented in the hardware and the software. They are fast when implemented in the software. So whatever the cyclic codes, if I implemented in the hardware, that has been faster than the whatever the implemented in the software, okay. So these are the two advantage of the cyclic codes, okay. So this will finish your cyclic codes, okay. Next video we will discuss the checksum.